When a company drops its earnings report, it's way more than just a page of numbers. It's really a story. It's their report card for how they did, and it's their roadmap for where they're headed. So today we're going to dive into the latest story from Citizens Financial Group and figure out exactly how they're planning to win. And boy, did Wall Street listen. The very day Citizens made their big announcement, the stock shot up over 7%. That right there, that's the market giving a huge thumbs up, saying, yeah, we really like what we're hearing. So that's where we're going to start. Which, of course, brings us to the big question. What on earth did Citizens say that got everyone so fired up? Well, the answer is a really compelling story about how their success in the past is fueling a super ambitious plan for the future. And here's how we're going to unpack it all. First, we'll look at their winning report card to see how they did. Then, we're going to spotlight the absolute star of the show, their private bank. After that, we'll dig into their big growth plan for 2026 and this massive new project called Reimagine the Bank. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the big takeaway. All right, let's get right to it. First up, the report card. How did Citizens actually perform over the last year? Because this is all about execution, right? It's about delivering on what you said you were going to do. So let's zoom in on the last quarter of the year. Their earnings per share, or EPS, came in at $1.13, just squeaking past what Wall Street expected. And look, beating profit expectations, that's one of the clearest signals a company can send that its strategy is actually working. And this wasn't just a flash in the pan. The whole year was fantastic. Full-year earnings per share jumped a whopping 19%. They gave 80% of that back to shareholders, and they showed some serious discipline by getting rid of billions in assets they didn't really need, which basically tidied up their financial house. So, bottom line, they absolutely aced their 2025 report card. Okay, so if 2025 was a hit movie, you gotta ask, who was the breakout star? And honestly, it's not even a question. It was the Citizens Private Bank. This thing has become an absolute growth engine for the entire company. And I mean, just look at the numbers. By the end of the year, their private bank had pulled in an incredible $14.5 billion in deposits. For a division that's still pretty new, that is a huge, huge number. And it wasn't just about holding cash either. They also built up a loan portfolio of $7.2 billion. Now, what that tells you is that they're building real, deep relationships with their clients. They're not just a place to park money. But here it is. This is the number that really blew me away. The private bank delivered a 25% return on equity. Okay, let's break that down. In simple terms, for every single dollar of investor money they put into this division, it's spitting back 25 cents in return. That is just an incredibly efficient and profitable operation. And here's the final piece of proof. The goal was for the private bank to add about 5% to the company's total profits. Well, they didn't just hit that target. They completely smashed it, coming in at 7%. This isn't just meeting promises. This is knocking it out of the park. So, a fantastic 2025 is in the books. But how do you build on that? Well, let's look at the ambitious roadmap they just laid out for investors for the year 2026. And let me tell you, this is a confident plan. They're forecasting double-digit growth in net interest income, really strong growth in fees and loans. And they're planning to buy back almost $1 billion of their own stock. This is not a company that's playing defense. This is a company on offense, using the momentum they've built to really step on the gas. But strong financial goals are only part of the story. They also unveiled a huge new strategic plan. And this isn't your typical cost-cutting exercise. This is about fundamentally rewiring the entire bank for the future. They're calling it Reimagine the Bank. And you can think of it as a collection of about 50 different projects, all focused on one thing. Using new technology, we're talking AI, automation, you name it, to make everything simpler, more efficient, and just better for the customer. This is their big bet on innovation. And this isn't just some fancy corporate slogan. They've attached some serious money to it. It starts off small, but by the end of 2028, they expect this whole initiative to be generating around $450 million in benefits every single year. This is a core piece of their long-term financial strategy. And you can just feel the excitement coming from the very top. Their CEO, Bruce Van Saun, came right out and said this thing is creating real excitement inside the company. And when the boss is that pumped up about a project, it tells you it's a massive priority. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here. We've got a great report card, a breakout star in the private bank, a super ambitious growth plan, and a huge new tech initiative. So let's tie this all together and figure out what it all means. If we just boil everything down, what is the one central story that Citizens really wants every single investor to walk away with after reading this report? What's the core message? It's this. They're saying, look, we proved we can deliver on our promises. They nailed their plan for 2025, and now they're using all of that credibility, all of that financial strength as a launchpad for an even bigger, more aggressive, tech-driven plan for the future. It's so simple. Past performance is funding future ambition. That's the story. Which leaves us with just one final thought to chew on. Citizens has drawn a very clear, very ambitious map to where they want to go. The question now is, can they actually navigate all the twists and turns of a pretty uncertain economy to get there? That right there is the billion-dollar question everyone's going to be watching.